Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 10th Hour Trio podcast. This is episode 1, our pilot, you could say. You have me, Sam Crutcher. I am doing the introduction right now. We also have Alex Grados, the legend himself. Alex, how would you like to, your first words on the podcast? It's like a big moment, you know? Like, This is what people remember. First impressions are very important. So
yes, in coding they say "hello world," so I'll leave that off as my first words on this podcast.
All right. Well, I guess his introduction was a reference to coding, not how I would have done it, but that's how it is. We also have Jordan Wilkerson. You can also call him Jordison. I called him that last time we filmed this, and he did not like that, so I'll call him Jordan for now.
Hello, everyone.
All right. Well, that's a hello from Jordan.
Yes, I didn't want to go with the cringeworthy coding phrase, so I went with just the simple hello, everyone.
Yeah, see, because everyone can understand a hello. Not everyone understands coding.
Exactly.
Well, hello world, I don't think it's because it's coding. It's just a phrase that happened to be what they said because it was something going out into the world.
But who says that in coding?
And this is going out into the world too. You're not understanding the point. It's just a phrase. I shouldn't have said anything about coding.
I think we should dive into our first topic, coding. Now, Grados, how have you been doing in your first coding class?
I'm in my second year of coding, actually, and I'm getting an A in it. It's pretty good. I like the teacher, Miss Kepka. She's very entertaining to listen to. That's about it. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it's.
Would you say that
skill.
It's creative?
Creative? No.
Yeah.
I think no. It's more about actually using formulas and like getting things to work the way that it's structured.
Would you also say that coding allows you to do things that you never thought possible?
Well, I never thought I'd be able to do what I do on the computer. So yeah, you could say that.
Would you say that coding is intuitive?
Intuitive. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I think you'd really it's something you'd have to try on your own to sort of get a grasp at.
Well, as fascinating as coding is, I don't know how many people in this class take coding.
So we'll just keep her moving.
You take coding. Yeah, we just talked about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you take coding. Isn't there a VR coding? Yeah,
there's a VR. They got a VR system, so that'll be an option in the future. So if anyone likes VR, that's something they can take and learn how to use an Oculus Rift.
What would you say to people who want to join coding? What's it all about?
I would say it's about learning how to use programming to write codes to get computers to do functions. So you sort of get a look at how, for example, a Google Doc, you sort of get to know how they work or how a website works, like what's built into it. So when you click your mouse over the button that says invite on the Zoom, you'd know, okay, how did they do that? How do they make it turn blue? How do they get it to do something? You learn all about the innards of websites. It's pretty interesting.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah, fascinating stuff from our official coding ambassador, Alex Grados. I guess that will conclude our interview in our first podcast. So thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We hope you enjoyed our pilot, and we will see you next Friday.
Why did you make it
That was
so
a joke.
short?
That was a joke.
Yes,
Do
that
not
was clearly a joke.
Oh, my.
Okay.
Last time we had this really funny bit where Grados was just freaking out because he thought it was super uncomfortable. It was really funny stuff, and then he just cut the recording.
Exactly.
So I told him to throw his mouse across the room so he's not tempted to cut it again.
But I have a trackpad.
Most of this podcast is Grados being uncomfortable.
That's the appeal. That's the whole bit.
Anyways, Grados, would you like to introduce our next topic?
Our next topic? It's not really topics.
It's not really a topic based. It's kind of just conversation.
We just sort of discuss. So
we're just kind of talking about stuff.
Yeah. What do you want? I'm saying, what do you want to discuss next?
Well, I think a big issue that less people are talking about right now is the closure of schools until January 19th.
Dang, you really just dive right into the hard-hitting things, don't
Oh,
you?
yes, I do.
5 minutes in, we're already talking about politics.
Yes. Oh, well, it's not political, but
Well,
or it may a bit.
some
It
people
is
are making it a
bit.
little political.
Yeah, that's true. So, what are your my thoughts on it? I just will start there. Are that the little students, our little Spartans, our most important group, needs to be in schools, and they're not.
Oh, they did cancel the elementary schools as well?
Oh, yes, everybody is shut down till the 19th of January.
So you're saying that little kids who are most susceptible to coronavirus, as well as like older adults, should be put in highly crowded public spaces?
No, little kids are the least susceptible to coronavirus.
Well, technically, they are one of the most susceptible. They're just not as likely to get seriously ill.
They're not as likely to get seriously ill or as likely to spread it. So they really should be back, and the teachers should, maybe be behind plexiglass or something so they don't get it. But that way they can just be around their peers a little bit, sort of get to see each other. But that's not happening, and it's just what it is. What are your thoughts on this, Jordan or Sam?
Well, one thing I definitely am concerned about is, we were very excited to see our classmates again in school. It's very unfortunate that we can't see them now due to this shutdown. I'm just curious if they're going to shut it down on the 19th. What's really the point of going back to school now? I mean, only 3 months after that, we're going to be basically out of school, and we don't really even know if we're going to go back on the 19th.
No, it's really unbelievable stuff. The board, that's what the board's saying, is they're like, well, we'll only have 3 months left, so what's the point? And they're already starting to talk about that.
I mean, to be fair, the point, though, of us going back to school isn't necessarily for the social aspect, as Jordan's talking about. I kind of see it more as they're trying to get that in-person education, like what Grados was talking about with the elementary schoolers. They want that for us to be in person in a classroom, not necessarily for the social aspect, just for the education.
No, they don't. They want it mainly for the social aspect, is what they're saying. There's not really any...
Really?
Because they'll be doing the exact same things. We'll still be watching Ed Puzzles. We'll just be watching Ed Puzzles together. The curriculum would not change at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then what's the point? You can't really be social.
Being around our peers. No, being around our peers. No, being around, just having them in the room is the point.
I know definitely some of the classes will be interesting. For example, my 9th hour AP US history class would have 3 people in it.
Yeah, my first hour math class would have 4 on B day, which is what I'm in.
Yeah, Grados is a B student, so sorry to all you A students, you won't get to see that lovely face.
Even though the A students the schedule is far superior, Mondays and Wednesdays.
I mean, there's this vaccine. That's another thing, is they came out with this vaccine, 2 of them, Pfizer and Moderna, whatever, something like that. And the Pfizer one is 94% effective, and the Moderna is 95% effective.
Yes.
In the clinical studies, which is extremely impressive work that they've done it this fast.
I believe they just applied to the FDA for emergency approval.
Yes, and our lovely Governor Andrew Cuomo is already blaming Donald Trump for speeding it up and saying they're not safe because it's under the Trump administration, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. And I don't think it's a political thing at all. I think they wanted to rush these vaccines, and but they put in they gave it their all, and they're safe. Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx are all recommending that we take them, and that they're safe, and that it was rushed due to a global effort to get it done, not because of the current administration at all. That's completely irrelevant.
So there is some hope that the virus will be controlled soon.
Well, relatively within months. I mean, it's not the easiest feat to get 10 billion vaccines, because you need more than one per person, apparently, they're saying, to into existence. They need to make them, and that's not the easiest thing to do.
And it's the holiday season, flu season. Viruses are going to spread easily.
Yes.
People were going to be with their families. Like Mr.
Mhm.
Sam is going to Texas to visit his 83-year-old grandmother. So
Mhm.
God bless her soul, and
Rest
you
in
know,
peace.
God be
Oma.
with her. Yes, rest in peace, Oma. Exactly. Well, I'll
Make
be
sure
sure to
people
knock
stay
on some
home.
wood here for that, for Oma.
Keep Oma in your prayers tonight, guys.
Exactly.
Okay, speaking of, Samuel's grandma, Kratos, what have you been doing to, keep from being bored in this quarantine?
Well, I've been going.
What was that transition? What?
Well, I think I've been, going and spending time with friends as much as possible, and I met Sam's other grandma, Karen, and his grandpa Dave. Lovely people, extremely entertaining, and they're just easy to talk to. I don't know, I like them very
They
much.
bought some of Gerald's coats, didn't they?
They
They
bought
did.
some of my grandpa's quadruple X coats that looked absolutely ridiculous on him because Dave is skinny. Like went down almost to his knees, but it worked for his use. I think he just
He looked like he was
Minnesota
happy.
He looked happy in it. That is for sure. Maybe in editing we can include a picture.
I'll pull
It's
up
a
a picture
podcast.
of.
No pictures.
Oh,
Okay. Well, and for the video, I can have a blank background, or I don't know. We can design
Dave.
something.
We need to
Well,
have Dave in
The
the
thumbnail
coat.
is not going to be a picture of Sam's grandpa.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I-
we'll throw that up when we talk about it, so anyone
Okay.
watching the YouTube video can look at the picture of my grandpa in Gerald's very large coat.
Yes.
Yeah. Has anyone tried this new chicken place at some local
Raising
news? I guess that's
Cane's.
Raising
Raising
Cane's.
Cane's.
That
Oh
is
my
the most.
gosh, it's crazy there. I went on opening night, and the line was in front of Target. So I got in the line in front of Target, and I waited about an hour to get into where the paths diverge. Where there's the one on the left and the one on the right.
Yeah.
And I chose the left one because I thought it would be slower, or I thought it would be faster. It turned out to be slower because the car that was behind me ended up ordering 20 minutes before I did. So it was awesome. And the chicken isn't even that good. I mean, it's
Unbelievable.
it's all right, but
Sam's
it's not
giving
Popeyes.
Low ratings.
I don't even
I'm
think
not gonna-
Popeyes is the best. So it
Popeyes
has to-
spicy chicken sandwich is so good.
I
And the
haven't had the
fries,
spicy chicken sandwich.
the fries at Raising Cane's were barely salted. It was so disappointing.
Do you know who has good fries? It's Buffalo Wild Wings. They have the little shoestring fries.
Mm-hmm.
And they're nice and crispy, and they're
Okay.
always well seasoned.
For
One
the
other
people that-
comment about Raising Cane's is the drinks. The ice they use those really small ice ones that you can chew.
And it melts so fast too. though.
I like it, so it was a plus for me. It might be
that's a plus.
a
Well, you
con
like
for-
chewing ice, don't you? Especially when
Yeah.
teachers are giving presentations in class.
Yeah, I love chewing ice with my
That's
my
why
mouth
your
open.
teeth are so small. You grind
Yes.
them down because you chew on hard objects. Exactly.
No, okay.
We'll have to
Okay.
probably cut that. That was stupid.
Moving away
No,
from
I'll
Kratos'
keep that
rude
in.
insults. Kratos,
Yeah, it's really disrespectful.
you seem to go to basically every restaurant in the DeKalb County area. Which one would you advise for the students of the 10th hour class?
Wait, don't forget
not
St.
only would I-
Charles too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I would say that I go to
St.
basically
Charles.
the Duquesne County area, DeKalb and Kane County, and
Every day.
my favorite restaurant in the area would be in Geneva. It's called Barrel and Rye. They have something called a duck poutine. It's amazing. We got Jordan a goat cheeseburger from there,
Oh,
and he was not a fan, but
Well, yeah,
he's
because
just crazy.
Who would like goat cheese on a hamburger?
Well,
sounds disgusting.
you asked for it, so I mean, I
No,
thought
I
you would.
said sarcastically, "Oh, you should get me a goat cheese and pickled onion hamburger."
Well, your
and we
voice
were
is
like,
extremely
oh,
monotone, so
that's
it's impossible to
clearly-
tell. Impossible to tell if you're being sarcastic.
It
or
sounds like you
serious.
peer pressured him into eating a goat cheeseburger when he obviously didn't want to.
Oh no, he ate it
Exactly.
willingly. He ate it willingly.
Well, yeah, I wanted to try it because you spent like $20 on a goat cheese hamburger and then just dropped it off and left at 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, what probably didn't help it is it was marinating in its own juices for 2 hours in the car while my friend and I were cycling around the area. That
Well,
probably
yes.
didn't make
So
it the
for the
best.
audience of the podcast, goat cheeseburgers are not good.
2 thumbs
Duck
down
poutine
from
is
the
good. It gets 4
podcast.
thumbs up.
It sounds
Okay.
disgusting.
Combined forces.
Duck poutine. What even is that?
Okay,
Duck
it's
and-
fries with gravy and cheese curds, with some shredded duck on top.
Does duck taste like chicken?
It's like dark meat chicken. The
Okay,
whole
then
piece.
it's probably good.
Chicken.
Yeah, it's extremely good.
Thanksgiving is coming up, and this is making me think of Thanksgiving because of chicken. I know
Poultry
Sam's going
in
to
general.
Texas. Grados, what are you doing?
Absolutely nothing at all.
Well, you heard that here, folks. Everyone meet at Grados' house for Thanksgiving. He has no plans. He would
Yes.
love a surprise party.
Exactly. So put that together. Show up with some food. Grados, what are you expecting for food wise for your surprise Thanksgiving party?
These stuffing is pretty good, but it
Get him
has to
some
be
duck
homemade.
poutine.
Duck poutine and
Oh,
Brazilian
yeah,
steaks.
might as well. No,
He
the
loves
Brazilian
Brazilian
steaks
steaks.
were not that great. No,
Oh.
they're really not.
He
Are you
also
saying-
loves Indian food, Buddhism. He loves
I do
Buddhist
love
food.
Indian food. It is very good.
What do Buddhists eat?
I don't know,
Food.
but they're not all Indian. So I mean, there's Christian Buddhists.
Well, yeah, but
Well,
that
yeah.
are
what
just,
is there?
you know,
I know Jewish people have kosher food. Do Buddhists have something similar?
Well,
No.
Muslims have halal, right? Or
Yeah.
is that
yes,
different? Okay.
yes, they do. That's why, like, this is interesting. In the our local, what is it called? Those cheap Little Caesars. Or I saw one that was Muslim owned, and they would get this special pepperoni. It was halal pepperoni, so they could eat it. It was made without pork, and they put in the window halal pepperoni served here, so they would know. Muslims would know. Oh, we can get the pepperonis here. So we'll go to Little Caesars. That's a little tidbit of information.
That sounds
It's awesome.
very interesting. I'm glad Little Caesars is taking into consideration all the various diverse religions in the DeKalb County area.
Oh no,
my
this was not in
Papa
DeKalb County.
John's.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, Papa
sounds-
John, he got in trouble for good reason. Jeez, Papa John, like, what were you thinking, bro? And we're talking about pizza now. We just got done with halal pepperoni, so I guess we should talk about other pizza toppings. What do y'all like on your pizza? Opinions on pineapple on pizza. What do we think?
No good. No
I
go.
like pineapple on the pizza.
Of course you do.
What do you
do
mean?
not
Of
like
course I do. Are
You
trying
don't like
to-
spinach. You don't like
No,
wilted spinach.
spinach is fine. Cooked spinach in eggs, that's no bueno.
Okay, but what about the spinach on the pizza?
Spinach on pizza, it's cooked, so no.
That makes absolutely no sense. It
I-
tastes the same. They both taste like nothing. I don't know how there's a difference.
Sam, your opinion on cooked spinach?
That sounds nasty. I would not have
Exactly.
cooked spinach on pizza.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
See, I don't mind it. I don't mind. It's like basil, sort of, but without any flavor. So it's
Basil
just like
tastes
there.
good though.
Yeah.
Basil on
It's the
pizza
same
tastes
texture.
good. Spinach
I
on
could eat
pizza?
a leaf and say it tastes like basil without flavor. I mean,
Well, basil
True.
is a leaf.
like, what if I just went out to my tree and ate a leaf?
Exactly.
Well, I
It's
do
just
that
basil
with my
without
burning
flavor.
bush. Well, it has flavor though. My burning bush has some flavor. It's got like really earthy. It's like almost
So-
like arugula.
You're going on record in the 10th Hour Trio podcast that you eat your bushes outside.
That would be not correct. I will occasionally
He just
pluck
goes
a leaf
outside
and eat
and
half of it.
stomps on his bushes.
Man, and you say Sam's teeth are going to be small. Biting bushes doesn't sound very beneficial to the teeth.
I think. Well, no, it's just like eating lettuce, though.
Well, so it's like
Well-
eating grass.
Exactly.
But grass doesn't have a really good taste.
Well, since you're the only one here that's
That's
eating
not
grass.
true.
and dirt, which one tastes better, Grados?
I have not eaten dirt.
Oh, but grass you have.
Yeah, I think
Hasn't
most
eaten
people
grass. Yeah.
have. Yeah, everyone's
never
eaten it
eaten
at some
grass.
point.
You've never eaten grass?
No.
It's different. You got to try it sometime.
Okay.
Just a little bit. Like, I don't know. It's not going to hurt you.
Well, Grados, how about you ask us a question since we've basically been doing an interview of
Yeah.
you for the last
Carrying
half
this
an hour.
podcast. Jeez.
Yeah, okay. Well, I will go to Jordan now. What has Jordan been doing in his free time? Because he seems like he's often busy. I'd like to know what he's doing. Or is he not busy?
Usually, I do my homework. I know that's really hard for you to understand, Grados, because you usually do your homework on Sunday night all at once. But throughout the week, when homework is assigned, I do it after school.
Okay. No, I'm not talking. No, on week. Like, what do you do for fun? Is what I'm trying to get at. You're not understanding the question, I don't think.
What do I do for fun? I've been playing the new hit game Among Us with my friends. Obviously, Sam has joined in on that. You have not because you don't like it.
Well, I mean, do you blame me? You literally run around as a little ghost thing. It's like Pac-Man. It's like modern Pac-Man almost. Like
it's nothing like Pac-Man.
No, I'm saying it's like a modern
I
spin.
couldn't think of a worse comparison. Among Us and Pac-Man.
He's just mad because he's terrible at the game.
That is true. I suck at it, but that's because I don't play it. So it's sort of a loop.
You're
there.
almost as bad as Conrad. Almost as bad as Conrad at the game.
Okay. No shade to Conrad.
For the people who don't know Conrad playing Among Us, Conrad is the worst at faking Among Us tasks. Like the worst.
I don't know if half the class probably doesn't know what Among Us is.
It's pretty popular.
It's pretty popular, Grados.
I guess that's true.
I mean, you didn't know who Charlie D'Amelio was, so
no,
I don't think the class is the one that's out of touch.
Wait, speaking of Charlie D'Amelio, I don't know if anyone's gonna care, but I took a Snapchat quiz to see if I was more like Charlie or Dixie D'Amelio, and I got Dixie D'Amelio. So I don't know any of them, but anyone who does, I hope you can let me in on some insight what that means.
Yeah, what does that mean? Because I definitely don't know what it means. I don't know their personalities. Grados definitely doesn't.
Honestly, I don't even know if they're related.
No one knows. That's a good question. The big mystery of the podcast, is Charlie and Dixie related? We don't know.
I think Grados has the answer.
I don't know a thing about the D'Amelio family besides they seem a little bit. I don't know how to even. They just seem they're the kind of people I would not like to associate with.
Like James Sharp.
Well, they're just extremely. I don't know. Like they have a personal chef. Anyone with a personal chef is just too good for me.
Well, they're extremely wealthy, so they pay a personal chef.
Well, I think wealthy people can still cook their. I mean, look at Warren Buffett, for example. He is worth, I think, around $65 billion, and he goes to McDonald's and makes his own food at home. So there's not necessarily a correlation between wealth and services. You have to have the wealth to have those services, but you don't have to have the services when you're wealthy.
But they want a personal chef because I'm assuming the chef makes good food because that is his job. So why wouldn't you hire a personal chef if you're that wealthy?
Because it's too bougie.
Well, I mean, Grados, you have a personal nanny. I don't see what's the difference between that and a personal chef.
Not anymore. No, that was a different. That was in a past time.
Sounds like Grados is just like the D'Amelios.
So it sounds like the reason Grados doesn't like the D'Amelios is because they have a personal chef.
Well, that was an example. They just seem too, and I don't know, like anyone that puts their 16-year-old in a position where they can be that famous, I just don't have respect for her, whatever.
Well, parents. I don't think their parents kind of chose to put. She just got on TikTok and started making videos, and it took off.
Well, I would say no. You're not doing that. You're going to be a normal kid, not encourage it.
What if this podcast took off? I mean, you were earlier saying we're gonna have to move to Los Angeles after this podcast blows up.
No,
that sounds extremely critical that you're criticizing the D'Amelios for blowing up and their family encouraging it, while trying to also do the same thing for yourself.
Too pretentious for me. I would never even visit Los Angeles.
But that's where all the famous, teenagers go for some reason. They go to Los
Exactly. That is
Angeles.
the point. I do not want to be a part of that crowd. I
It
do not
doesn't
want
matter
to
if you
meet
want to. That's what you're supposed to do when you become famous as a
Well,
teenager.
I'll have to break the cycle, won't I? If this takes off, we'll have.
Where are
to
you
break
gonna
the
go
cycle.
then? Gonna go to like Boise, Idaho, or something?
Yeah, that sounds nice. I'm sure. I like a nice cold winter. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just think that it's kind of ridiculous to have your kids in that position. So my children, if I have children, God bless their soul.
All right, I'm gonna cut that out. We do not need the audience picturing you having children.
Kratos, what do you want your children's names to be?
Well,
And how many do you want?
not more than 2. That is way too many. 3,
Oh my
because that's leading to population growth. We need to stabilize, if not reduce. So 1 or 2 is good. So we don't have an increase in population, just a replacement. And if
Okay.
it is a boy,
What-
Walter is a good name, and if it is a girl, Leah is an extremely good name.
Very
for a
interesting. We'll
baby.
have to have people comment on whether Walter and Leah are a good name for children. Sam, your opinions?
Well, I think they both sound like old people names, which fits Kratos' whole aesthetic. But we
True.
will have to discuss that with many of our future guests, which we
Exactly.
will be having on this podcast. Since this is the pilot, it's just going to be us. But going forward, we are going to be including members of the class like yourselves. So I think Miss White is going to send out a sign-up sheet to where you guys can sign up and we can schedule the podcast with you, and we'll kind of just have you on and have conversations like we've been having today, just kind of chilling, talking about Boise, Idaho, talking about halal pepperoni, and just stuff like that.
Just general
common
correspondence.
things like halal.
And speaking of that,
pepperoni, yeah.
Mrs. White just responded to me. She said that we need to have a well-written explanation of what and why the podcast is necessary before she sends it out, so people understand what they're signing up for and what they'll be discussing, basically.
Well, that's why we have the pilot. We're basically telling them what we're going to talk about.
Well, that is what I will send to her. But we'll
And the
also need to write a
reason-
description for those who don't want to watch the pilot but want to be on it, but they're just too lazy to watch this, or they don't feel like watching this. They can just read a little article about what they'll be
I mean, I
assigned
don't know.
to do.
I don't know why people wouldn't want to watch a half-an-hour podcast about us talking about halal pepperoni and Boise,
We're
Idaho.
over 40 minutes
Mhm.
at this
I
point.
mean, they should be paying us to
Exactly.
be able to watch this.
Well, that seems a little ridiculous. I would never put content out there that people have to
Oh
pay
my
to
goodness.
see me.
So, Kratos, are you going to plug your socials at the end of this video?
My what?
Your socials.
Your socials, your social media.
No.
If anyone is concerned about the little girl talking in the background, that would be my sister, who is sitting outside my doorway, banging on the door, trying to get into the podcast.
Well, should we let her into the podcast so she
No,
can
I
say
think
hello?
it's okay.
Okay.
We'll have the lowest special someday.
Yeah, she
Maybe.
can be an interviewee for a good 5 minutes.
No, Lois isn't in 10th hour, so
Well, that
Well,
would
it's not
be
only
after we
the 10th
finish.
hour. I mean, there's
True.
no 9th hour and 1st hour trio.
that's
And
true.
You can't
The
force
10th
them to
hour
make a
trio is
podcast.
too supreme.
What? You said something supreme. I don't know.
I said the 10th hour trio is obviously the superior trio out of all the other
Okay.
classes.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Well,
I mean,
I
do they have a
think we're the one and
podcast
only
as
trio.
awesome as ours?
True. I'm sure Connor will try to rip it off like he does with all my ideas, but that's okay.
Hey, this was not your idea. For the record,
That was
I
your
had the
idea.
podcast's idea. So I
No, I
get
thought it was no.
75%
I
of the
swear it
royalties.
was. I swear it was
Speaking
Jordan's
of
idea.
Conrad, speaking of Conrad, I heard he's making a board game with people in the board game that he knows. So if you want to be in Conrad's board game, just ask him, send him an email. I'm sure he'll love that I told everyone about him making a board game.
I'd buy Conrad's board game.
So would I.
Interesting. I don't know. I'd buy it if it's under $15. More than $15, it's not worth it. I think that's a
Great.
good limit for games in general.
Do you play board games, Grados?
On occasion, not very often, but my favorite board game is Monopoly Classic. It's the best board game.
True.
It
That can get
takes a
heated,
long
though.
time too. It can get extremely intense.
Especially if someone gets boardwalk.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But no,
then
what's worse
game
is if
over.
one gets boardwalk and the other gets Park Place, and then they're trying to
Exactly.
duke it out to buy, so one of them has
Exactly.
both of those
I have
spots.
no idea how you guys have Monopoly locations memorized more than real life locations.
What
I
everyone
have
knows
my
that
no
boardwalk
here.
and Park
That's
Place.
another thing. Is Sam's reliance on Waze to get literally anywhere. He does not know a schmucking location in the entire anywhere. Like he
I
had to
do.
use.
That's not true.
You needed Waze to get from my house to yours, and we lived 10
When I was
minutes apart.
first getting around town,
Yeah. I mean, I
But-
still struggle driving in the dark. It's hard for me to tell where everything is once the lighting changes.
It's so stupid. I could get, I don't know, I wouldn't say anywhere in the state, but I could get to most.
Yeah,
I
but
don't- I
you've
could get
also
to-
had your license for 6 months longer than Sam and I have.
No, but I could do it before I had my license, because whenever we're in the car, I don't play on my phone. I get carsick. I look out the window and try to remember the street names.
But you realize that's abnormal, right? And that me and Jordan not knowing how to get from my house, from opposite sides of town, is kind of normal.
Okay, we'll do a little quiz. Let's see if you know it. The main road in
We don't know the road names.
64.
Okay.
Are you gonna?
Yes,
Is it
that the main road that goes to Sycamore is 64. What is
Yeah.
the main road that connects all? It's after Highway 47. The main road that connects basically Huntley all the way to Geneva and all of that stuff in between. Like Geneva Commons is off of it. All of that stuff. It's like the main road. Everyone knows it. There's even a song that was in
Route 64?
Randall Road. I seriously don't know what Randall Road is. This is unbelievable.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to research our street name for the next podcast.
Yeah. Make sure anyone who wants to come on the podcast, you might get quizzed about street names by Kratos. So get ready.
Yeah. Well, guys, it looks like that's about all the time we have for the pilot of the 10th Hour Trio podcast. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you saw this, that we edited it and put it out. I'm not sure if this is going to be an assignment that is you have to write something about this, or if it's just going to be sent out for fun. Either way, thanks for making it all the way through. We really appreciate you guys for listening, and special shout out to Mrs. White for letting us do this. It's a great opportunity, and we're having a lot of fun doing this. Would you guys like to say any closing thoughts?
Just think about halal pepperoni. That's if one message you should get from the podcast this week is halal pepperoni.
Okay. I can't top that.
Also, if you guys want to be on the podcast, make sure you fill out the sign-up form, and
It's
We'll
a
get that
spreadsheet, a
scheduled.
Google sheet.
okay, well,
Bring
we'll
a
figure it
friend.
out.
Bring a friend or
Yeah.
two, preferably a friend, just one. But if you want to, if you
If you're
really
extremely
rely on
popular.
2 people,
Yeah.
extremely popular, yes, you can bring 2.
Who knows? Maybe we'll get some celebrity guests on here.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll have to hit up G Huncho and tell him to be on the podcast.
Oh, he is a minor celebrity in Sycamore, Illinois.
Or we could get Nina Mitchell on the podcast, maybe.
I'm not
She
sure
is
who that
coming
is,
home.
but sure.
You don't know
You don't know
Nina
who
Mitchell?
Nina Mitchell is?
No idea.
That's a shame.
That is
That is-
very, very bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we need to look up our street names, and Kratos needs to do a Google search of Nina Mitchell.
Okay.
Yes, and various other minor celebrities in Sycamore, Illinois.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be sure not to do that, but that's all right. Okay.
All right. Well, that's it. Bye, guys. Hope you enjoyed.